Morocco.
Nice people.
A place I'd been longing to visit for quite some time. A country I wanted to understand for myself and form my own opinions on. So when I was finally able to take my first steps on Moroccan soil, I was excited. Excited to learn about a new country and a new culture that, quite frankly, I knew very little about. I knew that Morocco had beautiful landscapes, hectic cities, and some supposedly tasty dish called tagine. Well, spoiler, tagine is delicious. But knowing so little about Morocco, I was eager to dive deep, understand its people, and peel back its layers to discover what Morocco really means. So I thought the best way to understand Morocco was to throw myself right into the thick of it, and I decided to begin my time in this foreign place by wandering the world's largest Medina in Fes, one of Morocco's northern cities with a population of over 1 million people. And after about 5 minutes, I realized that the Fes Medina had won because I was lost. And no, I'm not exaggerating when I say that I was legitimately lost after 5 minutes wandering the narrow maze-like streets and alleyways. But even in these first 5 minutes, I was already experiencing sensory overload, in the best way possible. I was hearing people converse in a language I never heard before.
Yes.
I was seeing the faces of Morocco for the first time, smelling new scents, some pleasant and some not so pleasant.
Pigeon poop.
Feeling new things and tasting new flavors. It was a beautiful start to really understand what Morocco is and what it means to be Moroccan.
مرحبا بكم فاس.
After my first day in Morocco, I had exchanged smiles and laughs with new friends.
My friend. Oh my God, big welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
And learned about Morocco's special pilgrimage, where Google Maps doesn't work and you're forced to harness your inner luck and find your own path through the narrow Medina streets. Or you can seek the help of locals who may ask to harness your inner wallet. After barely scratching the surface of what Morocco is in Fez, I traveled north to discover the blue city of Chefchaouen and get my first glimpse of one of Morocco's calmer mountain towns. I learned a few things in Chefchaouen. 1. This town is way more beautiful in person than online, so do yourself a favor and don't even look it up on Instagram. 2. Not all Moroccan vendors are overly aggressive and many are genuinely friendly people. 3. Chickpeas are everywhere in this country. And 4. Even though I'm not a cat person, cats are cuter with a blue background. Okay, but on a more serious note, after a few calm days exploring the beauty in the north of Morocco, I felt like I still had a massive gaping hole to fill to really understand Morocco. So what did I do? I went to the craziest place in the entire country, Marrakech. Now, hear me out. I knew Marrakech would be hectic,
Absolute chaos.
and touristic, but I also thought that with such a big city and so much going on, it could also be a special place to connect with Morocco.
Yes, big welcome.
If I pushed myself to go beyond the main square, where I was constantly harassed.
Promise, brother, promise.
Chillax,
chillax.
No, that's I want to explain to you what we have for later.
Okay, shukran,
What's wrong, my friend?
So I decided a great way to better understand Morocco was to discover the country through its food and meet the people that make and sell it. So I organized my own DIY food tour around the Marrakech Medina. What did I learn? I learned that despite a handful of bad apples whose main goal is to scam and lie to you, the majority of Marrakechians or Marrakechans, you know what I mean, the locals of Marrakech are kind, welcoming, honest, and downright hilarious people. I learned so much about Moroccan food too. I learned that tagine isn't just a popular Moroccan dish, but a way of life and something you say when you're feeling happy and free.
Tagine!
Listen, Marrakech is a wild place, and one that to this day I have mixed feelings about. It's loud, hectic, and full of lies and scams. But if you dig deeper, you have the chance to crack open the door to Morocco and experience a unique part of its culture. In my quest to really understand Morocco and its people, I knew I had to push myself further than just the busy Medinas, and that I had to experience life in rural Morocco. So I set off across the country to experience life with the Berber people, live in a home made of mud, fetch my water from a well, and get lost in a new side of Moroccan culture. Just as I felt like I was beginning to understand what I thought to be Morocco, it felt like I fell off Mario's Rainbow Road and was placed back to start. The Berber family I was living with has their own language. They have their own customs, their own traditions, but luckily, they also have some sweet dates.
Wow, so good. These are amazing.
I was in awe. These people whom I had never met in my life welcomed me into their home with open arms. Me, a complete stranger. I was treated like one of them, immersed in their culture. My new family taught me how to properly pour tea. Instead of pinky up, keep your whole arm up for those special bubbles. Tea with bubbles is a sign it's a good tea. We ventured into the Sahara Desert together, made new friends atop a sand dune, sang and danced together, but I watched sunrise alone. No hard feelings, it was super early. After leaving my new Berber family, I rode a high all the way to Morocco's coast, with what felt like a deeper and more holistic understanding of Morocco. I was thankful for my new family for opening their home and way of life to me, and to be honest, I was proud of myself for opening my mind to this new experience, because it wasn't all dates and sand dunes. There was also the discomfort that came with living in a new environment, and especially one made of mud. After a string of long, windy buses, alas, the smell of raw fish had creeped up into my nose. And after my initial flinch to pinch my nostrils shut, I took a breath and felt a sense of relief. I could smell raw fish, and I could walk through fish slush. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that I love the smell of raw fish in the morning, but this meant I could meet the fishermen of Morocco. I ventured further along Morocco's coast, and boy was I happy I did. I met the kindest people you could imagine.
You welcome here in Imswan for surfing, for fresh food, for a good life, man.
Strangers opened their life to me, sharing their culture, and others opened their doors to me, offering a helping hand when I was in need. So, what did I learn about Morocco? Well, I learned that the country and the people are there, with open arms and hearts, but that you have to push through the hustlers and scammers to experience the true beauty of this special place. I learned that Morocco is way more diverse than what meets the eye, that smiles are as universal as a glass of fresh mint tea, and that there is still so much to this country that I want to learn about. Luckily, I know that when I return, I'll receive a big marhaba. Morocco, this isn't Bislama, but more of a see you later. Until next time, Morocco. Shukran.
Yes.
Assalamualaikum.